It's going to be
Okay.
so it's going to be live on Facebook. So we are live on Facebook. This is a podcast that intends to do what preaching, teaching, and what a pastoral ministry could do for people from the pulpit. This is another dimension that we felt we could reach the people, our members, and even non-members, those who are Anglicans worldwide, and those who are not even Anglicans. We felt that this is also an opportunity to reach out to people in a non-traditional way, but still saying the same thing, carrying the same weight of the gospel to reach people so that their needs are met. Because obviously people are facing different challenges. It could be finance, it could be marital, it could be some people have challenges in the ministry, in their career. But today's podcast is particularly focused on family and how to raise godly children, particularly in North America. My Lord, I don't need to tell you stories about the challenges of raising children in North America. Not only in North America, in most Western nations, even in Africa, it's very challenging to raise children, particularly in this age of technology, in this age of social media. It's really very, very challenging. We're here today. We want to talk about it because you've been there, you've done that. You are even at the point of even helping your children to also raise their own children as grandparents. And I know this is going to be a kind of a new role that you will find yourself in, because training children directly is even different from raising your own grandchildren. So we just want to tap from your experience, from your knowledge, so that we can help people, because this is one of the areas that people are really not getting it right. And we hope that today's conversation will help a lot of people to chart the course for their family and for their children in North America. My Lord, to start the podcast, I want to know, is there a particular way, or do you have a particular format or methodology that one can use to raise family in North America? How should Christians and godly parents conduct their family life in North America?
Thank you very much, Venerable Shineye, for inviting me to this podcast. And I'm really also appreciative of the diocesan who is also on the line. We want to really bring in the fact that raising children anywhere in the world is a very big challenge now, more so in North America. It is important for people to know from Christian background that marriage is an assignment from God. You know, it is not us who found ourselves to be in need to get married. When the Lord created Adam and Eve, before the creation of the woman, he said it is not good that man should be alone. And so you will make him a helpmate. And this we find in Genesis chapter 2, as when these people came together, they came together in an assignment unto God. So if we really want to understand family life and conduct it in a godly way, it must be behind our minds that this is an assignment for God. The Lord is investing in the lives of humanity through marriage. And so, if people really understand that, apart from the social, being a social event, is a very spiritual event to get married. And then when you get married, you, as Christian couple, must have had that background to understand that as Christians, you are ambassadors for Christ. And so, in anywhere in the world, you want to conduct your family in such a way as to bring honor to the name of our Lord and our Savior Jesus Christ. Even people from other religious backgrounds understand this, and they still follow to some extent the law of divine establishment, which is stated very clearly in the Ten Commandments that we are given. So a Christian family must conduct themselves in such a way that they don't violate the law of the land. And that is very important. They must understand the basic things, that is expected of them for them to walk in a way that is godly, to drive on the road in ways that are, that is godly. So many other things like that. But they know that, ordinary people also do this. And apart from that, as Christians, they must develop themselves spiritually, because that is what really should give them the head, an advantage over others, in the sense that they have that spiritual background to fall back on, to really live in such a way that when the children start coming, they are prepared to nurture them and to understand that children too are the investment. They said children are heritage from the Lord, and heritage means something very precious. And so for us to be able to conduct ourselves in any environment at all, we should understand that this is an investment that the Lord had given us opportunity to have. And we know also that children, by the age of 18, in any community, they are ready to leave the home. Some for university, some to do other vocational assignment and rest of them. So the time they spend at home is very short. And for us to be able to nurture them during that period, there should be a plan not only to invest in their upbringing, but to also make sure that such investment is done in a way that will be godly, that will be helpful for their own spiritual life as well. So in every family, there must be a way in which they conduct themselves with Bible knowledge and prayer. Right from the time these children are young, in order for them to be able to understand that their lives are really interwoven with their relationship with God. So, in that context, the Christian family, for example, in Africa, the interaction is almost a communal kind of living in which you have relatives, immediate and extended family, even in the neighborhood. We see one another as brothers and sisters or, family. But in North America, it's a little different. So the Christian in North America even needs the church more than in Africa, for example, in the sense that in the church you are gathering together with people with common values, and from those, families, you'll be able to see a few of them that would really be very complementary to what you are teaching your children at home, for them to be able to live in the community so that they don't live in isolation. As in Africa, it's almost natural that you cannot live in isolation. Even when you don't invite people, they come to the house. Unlike in North America, when you have to make appointment arrangement for you to be able to come. But in notwithstanding, it is an assignment that we need to really make a plan to make sure that the family is law abiding. The family is aware of the spiritual input that they need to put into their children in order for them to live well within the society. And as they grow, as the parents contribute positively to the socio-economic and spiritual well-being of the community, they should nurture their children in the same way. I hope I have addressed some of these issues.
Yes, my Lord. Maybe before I continue, maybe you will need to adjust your camera a little bit so that there is so much space at the top of your head and your chin is barely showing because
Okay.
yes, so, yeah, exactly. That's not just yes, better. It's better, sir. Yeah, thank you.
Is it better?
Yes, better.
I
Yeah.
don't see my head here.
Your chin was almost kind of come
Okay.
off the camera.
All right.
So, my Lord, I think I want to completely agree with you because if you, I've seen a few clips of a particular woman. I don't know which state. I can't remember which of the states. Who went to a store, one of the I don't know whether Walmart or one of these big stores, and then the woman was shoplifting, and then was also she also asked, I think, two of her children or one of the child was also shoplifting with her, and at the end of the day they were caught. And thankfully to them, they called police on them, but instead of the police to arrest them, the police decided to ask for the price of what they shoplifted and decided to pay out of his pocket. Just because the police felt this is something must have pushed this woman into this kind of lifestyle. But regardless of what might have pushed her into doing it, that is not a good enough reason to do it in the first place at all. But what I just want to establish is the fact that you said that as parents, we have to conduct ourselves in such a way that we are like an example to our children.
Yes.
Because the way we conduct ourselves, the way we live our life, the way we lead ourselves are some of the examples that our children are going to grow up with. They are some of the examples they are going to imbibe into their own life and then continue to live in the same way. For example, if as parents we are driving our children in the car or in the vehicle, we should always remember, just like you said, we should always remember to keep the rules, obey the traffic rules, don't break the traffic rules, because the kids are seeing all this. And it is from this kind of lifestyle that some of these kids learn this little bad habit that also grows with them. So I just want to establish the fact that just like you have said, that parent needs to conduct their life in such a way that it will be an asset to the development of their children, rather than doing something that will make them to develop into something that will become a disaster to society. Now, I know that coming from Africa, of course, very well, your children will probably, I don't know how many of them were born here, but I know some of them were already born in Nigeria before you moved to the US.
All of them.
Oh, all of them. So I know that the worldview of parenting in Africa or in Nigeria is totally different from the worldview of parenting in America or not in any Western nation. So I just want to hear your view. How were you able to balance the two worldview? Because obviously you cannot use the orientation that you have as a parent in Nigeria. It is not going to be applicable here. Everything you cannot, though there are some you can adapt, but you cannot say the way children are raised in Nigeria is exactly the same way you are going to raise your children in North America. It's not going to happen. Even if you try it, your children are going to resist it vehemently. So, but I just want to know how, because you've done it, we are looking up to people like you, and I know there are people who will want to learn from you how you were able to do it. How were you able to balance that worldview of raising children from Africa and then versus the worldview of raising children in North America? How did you strike the balance out?
Yes. Thank you for that question. It is important for us to know as Christians that whether we're in Africa or in North America, we read the same Bible.
Yeah.
And we are supposed to nurture our children in the way of the Lord.
Yeah.
So, in that context, you find out that while it is really a natural thing for you to live in community in Africa,
yeah,
and while it is a little more difficult over here to do such thing, the family still has to live as a unit in such a way that you, like what people say, it is from the home that the character is taken to the community. So whether we are in Africa or here in the North America, the character of the individual is important and it is established from home. It is established from home in the sense that the parents themselves must avoid being, negligent regarding the way in which they really conduct themselves, either in the community or at home. In over here, you need to learn again what are the important things that will help your children grow. Uh, uh, as I have made mention of, you as Christians cannot afford to live in isolation. Many people are able to use the television and the rest of them to give excuses not to be in the church or to be in the community. It is not ideal. We should remember the words of the writer of the Hebrews in Hebrews 10:25. Do not neglect the fellowship of one another. While it is so natural most of the time to live in the community and in Africa, over here, it has to be an intentional thing. You can isolate yourself. People will not even knock at your door, you know. But in Africa, it's almost impossible. Even if you don't want to interact, it's more or less, except you live in exclusive areas where people cannot touch you. It is really very important for us to know that we are born to have fellowship with people, even if a few families that you are going to really interact with are people that share your values, that you really need to nurture your children together with, so that that communal kind of fellowship which the Bible encourages is not lost, And we know with the advent of technology, things become more difficult. But at the same time, parents must understand that they need to be mindful of watching their children at all times. In Africa, you can have people who would easily report if if your son or your child is doing something wrong. For example, I have a relative who went to, after the harvest, general harvest in the church, you usually have this bazaar. And this particular young boy was spending money as if he had stumbled, maybe he had a lottery
On top of
somewhere. You know? The people who saw him brought the message to the parents at home. Where did this fellow get this money to be spending like this? In that kind of context, they were able to really report him, and he knew that people are watching him not only in terms of going to the community, but also how you conduct yourself in the community. Over here is a little more difficult, the sense that as a result of the nature of the society, you could hardly find people who bring such report to except maybe in school the boy is behaving badly, and then they have the opportunity to really report to the parents. And on the other hand, except you are interacting with the appropriate family friends who would also do the same over here. So the worldview is quite different in that context, in the sense that you have to do more work in making sure that your children behave properly in this environment than in Africa, when people spot something unsavory about your children, they will make sure that they come and give you the report. I hope that also addresses some of this issue.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes.
For me, I know from my experience, I know
Yes.
that environment is very,
Yes.
very crucial
Yes.
when it comes to raising kids.
Children.
Though I haven't had as much experience as you have had, but in
Mm.
my own little corner that I have been parenting my children
Mm.
about 15 years now,
Yeah.
I've discovered that that environment is very, very important.
Mm.
I just want to know because I know your children. I've
Mm.
met them before, and I know that they are responsible children. They are well to do. They are well behaved, in my own opinion. And I want to know, and I know people wants to hear what
Mm.
informed your choice of the kind of elementary school or the high school that they went to. What were the
Mm.
factors that you considered? Because those are the
Yeah.
life-shaping platform that children are often influenced into becoming whatever they become in life. So, what were the choices
Become.
that informed
Yes.
the
Yes.
way you decide?
Yes. Yes. Um, every well-meaning parent
Yes, sir.
wants the best for their children.
Yes, sir.
And in that context, you are not just going to allow them if you find out that a school is not doing well.
Yes, sir.
You will not naturally want to enroll your children in such a school,
Yes, sir.
you know. And for example, when my children were in elementary in Nigeria, uh, some of them went to what we call the Catholic school.
Mm,
Two of them were in the Catholic school,
mm,
and the youngest one was still in the kind of kindergarten in another school.
mm,
But we saw the difference in the fact that the other school was more secular, the other school was at least more intentional in imbibing some Christian values.
mm,
And we did not have any difficulty in making sure that after his kindergarten, he moved to the other place, more or less. So, what really should help children, the parents know, even in North America, is that you have to do the research of
very
the
essential.
schools around you.
Yeah.
Some public schools are excellent, they are
Yeah.
good. So, you know that whether you send them to Christian school or to public schools, you still need to do your own work at home in nurturing them spiritually.
Mm,
So don't use the school as a kind of a leverage where you have no work to do. You will always have work to do because just as I made mention of initially, raising up children is an investment, an assignment for God, and an investment for your own peace of mind. In the sense that if they turn out well, they will also invest in you. If
exactly.
you had made you have been negligent in their own upbringing, is
Mm.
what you put in, you
But you
garbage in,
garbage in,
garbage out. So it has to be intentional.
yeah, it has
You
to.
know, you have to really investigate the schools around you to make sure that your children attend the appropriate school that you can monitor and you can be in touch with the teachers to ensure that if anything is going on wrong, you are able to be on top of the situation to correct the situation before things get out of hand. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my lord. Just to re-emphasize what you said, I remember some years ago when we were living in a particular city. Not that the education there was bad, but we just felt we're initially thinking of taking our children to a private school, where most importantly, a Christian private school.
Yes.
We wanted them to have that Christian virtue and all that. But when we made inquiries about the school, the tuition was really very much beyond what my little weekly pay could accommodate. So what we did, although it wasn't intentional, but somehow God just made it happen that way.
Yes.
So when we wanted to move out of that city, we were initially looking for a very fair city where everything will be balanced. There won't be too much racism. There will be the education there will be okay and all that. So in the process of making inquiry on which city to eventually go to, somehow God decided to push us into our current city that we are in now, which is one of the uh, most is one of the most important city in Massachusetts. I think it's number 6 when it comes to the level of education and everything about you can think about that you want to have in a city. So the trade-off that we had was that we had to pay a little more for accommodation to be able to get the same value of education in a public that we would have used thousands of dollars to pay for private school. So just to establish the fact that one needs to do is research very well, and just for parents out there to know that it's not just about moving from one city to another city. You have to put a lot of factors into consideration whenever you are moving. You have to put the education of your children. What is the rating of the education in that city? You have to know all those information. So we don't just go to a city just because it's very cheap, it's very affordable. At the end of the day, you will end up affecting the life of those children in a negative way. So I just want to emphasize the fact that we need to do a lot of research when it comes to choosing schools for our children.
And just to say a few words towards in support of that, I know that in the lives of our own grandchildren, some of them have the opportunity of going to schools where they are more flexible with the syllabus, the curriculum, so that those who are inclined to do sports, they have the opportunity to do so along with the regular education. And so the flexibility that they create nowadays is also very important for parents to know, so that they can also take advantage of that kind of flexibility where they see a child doing more work at the higher level. The opportunity is there. When we were growing up, except for those who may get double promotion, you remain in the same class. I mean, for the year. But now they create an atmosphere where if you are able to do so well in one subject, they won't stop you at that grade. You go to higher grade, that kind of thing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next question that I will want us to explore together is the question around spirituality. Whether we like it as parents, particularly Christian parents, it is very essential that we imbibe or inculcate what I would call spiritual sensibility in our children. Because just like the Bible says, it said, train up a child in the way that he shall go. And when he's old enough, he will not turn back from it. That scripture is very, very important to me because in as much as we are not going to be able to determine the direction our children's life will go at the end of the day, but I still very much believe that we do our homework in establishing that spiritual sensibility in them. It may not be, they may not practice it exactly the way we practice it, but just making them realize that there is a God somewhere who cares for them, who believes in them, who will provide for them, who will see them through every challenges. And they've seen that same God who has been very supportive of all of us as parents and all that. That orientation and that sense of spirituality will go a long way in helping them to develop their own spiritual environment for themselves, for their kids, and for their family as a whole. So I just want to know how you address the spiritual needs of your children as they were growing up.
I want to thank you again for that question.
Yes, sir.
And one of the things that we did when our children were young is the fact that as soon as they are able to speak, we were able to buy them Bibles that we read to them. Then when they started reading, we also bought them what they could read, but we don't no longer read to them, but they read to us, to make sure that they understand it. And by the time they were in their teens, we were able to step forward to buy them like life application study Bible, where we encourage them to lead in the family devotion, which is usually in the evening, because most of the time we all rush out in the morning. But in the evening, immediately after dinner, maybe like 6, 7, before they go to bed, we were very strict in making sure that our children get enough rest. They were going to bed by 8 o'clock in the evening. We did not compromise that. But before going to bed, 15, 20 minutes to read the Word of God is so important for them to learn how to understand the Word of God in their own context until when they were able to not only read, but read the notes and give a little message. Occasionally, we are able to sing, all these values help in the sense that, for example, when we were in Michigan, when we first came to the US, we were living in a 1.5 bedroom space.
Wow.
And what really happened was that we were a happy family of 5, even though, and we did not know that we were overcrowded, until one of my brothers said he wanted to come from Nigeria to spend like a month with us.
Wow.
So we went to meet the custodians of the apartment to say that maybe they could lease the next door, which was vacant at the time, to us for like a month.
Okay.
So they told us that, look, they saw us like a family with a future. This is why they have left us.
Wow.
They did not want to disturb us because they saw our children are well behaved. They were doing well in the community. They were not really troubling anybody. But it will be impossible for them to lease that apartment for us for 1 month because the minimum lease is like 6 months,
Wow.
you know.
Yeah.
So eventually we had to go and find another place which
Mm,
would accommodate the visit of my brother who was coming. But what I just want to say here is that it is the responsibility of parents to imbibe spiritual values in their children, you know, and when they are old, those spiritual values will continue to guide them,
mm,
that they can conduct themselves appropriately.
mm,
And when, for example, we were in Michigan at the same time, one of them was teaching in the Sunday school
mm.
and they wanted to start paying her. I said, no. I mean, we don't, I mean, they appreciated her in
But
other
then it's
ways,
okay here,
but I
but
said, no.
you don't pay for God's
you
service.
know, you know. And then all of them, more or less, were able to also pair up with their fellow people in the same secondary school, in the same high school, who are going to another bigger church, but they also have bigger fellowship there. So they were both Anglicans and Baptists at the same time, you know. But what I'm just trying to emphasize here is that because they had the spiritual value to share with others in
Other
the
people.
community, it was easy for them to interact in that in the community in which they were. Thank
Thank you, my Lord.
you.
Um, I know for uh, the African Americans, I know one of the greatest things
Mm,
that they cherish. Uh,
mm,
having interacted with a few of them
yes.
who I met in school, and some of their celebrity who I know have invested so much in,
Mm,
in wanting to know their origin and their
yeah.
and where they came from. Uh,
Yes.
the word identity is very, very crucial, not only
Yes.
to them, but to every one of us. Everybody wants to identify with something. You want to identify with your roots. You want to know where your source is. You want to know where you are coming from, where you are going, where you are currently. So it's for many of us who are from Africa, uh,
Mm,
we don't have problem with such identity. I know there may still be one or two people who may be struggling with it, but majority of us who are from Africa don't have
mm,
that sense of uh, absence of identity.
mm,
Well,
mm,
but for many of the African Americans, they usually struggle with it a lot based on
yes.
my interaction with some of my friends when I was in graduate school. Uh, and many of them spend a lot of money doing DNA tests just to know where the
Mm.
majority of their DNA, uh, where
People have come.
their DNA people comes.
Nationality.
Yeah, most of them are usually excited when they realize that they are maybe 50% Cameroonian, 60% Nigerian, and they are always
Mm.
usually very excited, and it gives them that sense of
Yeah,
belonging that this is where
I come from.
my great great grandfather came from, and that in a way is very very liberating for many of them. Now,
Yeah.
I know, unfortunately, some of our children don't seem to get that aspect very right.
Mm,
They want to lose that identity. They feel it's one of the nicest thing is
mm.
to do
To
away with that
forget.
identity, to forget that identity,
Mm,
and really reestablish themselves as an American, as somebody who is born in America, they really want to emphasize that over and above the roots that they are coming from. So I just want to ask you, how should parents ensure that their children's primary identity as Nigerian, as Ghanaian, as Sudanese, as Liberian, or from any other part of Africa or anywhere in the world, how should parents ensure that their children's primary identity is upheld and not lost in a cultural diffusion such as we have in the US today?
Thank you so very much. Unfortunately, the trauma of what had happened in previous centuries
Yeah.
had really left many of the African Americans you made mention of devastated, that they couldn't even trace their root. But thank God that era is over.
Yes, sir.
And we who are left with the opportunity to connect strongly with our roots should understand that connecting with your root is additional benefit to your life. To connect with your people, wherever you have come from, is very beneficial to even learn your language, to understand. For example, I have a niece who was brought up here, and she eventually started liking going to Nigeria.
Wow.
You know, recently she started even getting tutored in the language
Wow.
to make sure that she really fits in well into the community,
Wow.
which is strength. As I look at it,
Yeah.
she's now thinking of doing some business in Nigeria, and
Wow.
because of the frequent visit she had to go through, even though the mother is African American, she is able to really connect well with family in Nigeria. And because she's connected with family, she's well protected anytime she's going to go to Nigeria, because they will tell her where to go, where not to go. All those information will be useful. So I will encourage us, as soon as we have the opportunity, to take our children, grandchildren to visit, to learn the language. Even they can learn the language from here. I know my grandchildren are learning the Yoruba language. I mean, online with people that we know. So it is really an asset for you to be able to connect. See the example of the people, the Hispanics, for example. They are very well connected in such a way that, I mean, they live in communities. I
Yes,
mean,
sir.
and apart from that, they make sure that the language, their language, is the first language. English is usually the second,
English.
even though even though we make English our first language, but it is not too late to make our own language the second language, so that these children could be well connected with the continent from which we have come. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I just have one more question and then we can call it a day, sir.
Mm.
If you could turn back I don't know if that is possible, if you can go back in time and restart your family life once again, especially in this kind of era that we are in. That was not the setting that you had
Yes.
when you started your own family life.
Yeah.
You happen to have this kind of context that we are in currently in this digital transformation era. that
Yes.
that is not just shaping the kids, it's also shaping the parent, as it were, because
Yes.
sometimes you see parents, children in the house, the parents are on their gadgets, the children are also on their gadgets. This is
Gadget.
an extraordinary time that we are
That,
in. And if you could go back in time and perhaps you had this was the kind of setting you grew up with, how do you think you'll be able to raise your children or your kids and do things differently than most parents are doing today? How would you react to such situation?
yes. Well, we have to do things according to the time in which we exist. And it is very, very important for parents to know uh, the pros and cons of all this digital technology that we find ourselves in today. We know that making the children to be on the television or on the iPad for a long time is injurious to them.
Mm,
It's just like, you take too much of everything, you will get the welcome consequences of doing so.
mm,
So it is important for us to be mindful of the fact that the times are changing.
mm,
When we were young, even though, we had the opportunity when in my own household, for example, when we had opportunity to eat lunch with our parents, we know we are going to spend like 2 hours, you know. And what really happens is that it's very occasional, but it is important that they will begin to tell us stories of people who have succeeded and people who have failed. This is how they nurtured us for us to know.
mm,
So it is now we're in a different age where the iPad, the digital technology had made that kind of conversation
yes.
less important. But we must not forget that there must be a regulation.
Mm.
There must be an intentional effort on the part of the parents to make sure that they don't allow this the technology to injure their children.
Mm,
And children have been injured. We know the case going on in California now
mm,
with Mark Zuckerberg, who had to go to court because someone claimed that he had been damaged as a result of the exposure to all the social media. So we need to really make sure that there's a balance between letting these children do social media, sports, and various other things that the family will do together instead of really allowing them because it's so cheap and so much available, and they give us more or less quiet if they're on their iPad. You know, we should not allow the excesses of all these things to be injurious to them. And it is an intentional thing that is part of our investment in their lives. Just as I made mention of before, children by the age of 16, 18, they are ready to leave. For
exactly.
example, when my own young son, the last one of the family, left the home in 2000, the
Mm,
year 2000, at the age of 17, none of them had come back to live a whole week
since
in
that time.
a home. Yes, since that time. We
Oh,
talk a lot on the phone, but we are all in different places. You know,
uh,
we are all in different places, but
yeah.
at the same time, we make sure that we do not neglect at least once or twice a year, we must all meet, you know. But what I'm just trying to say is that family development is an intentional thing. You must monitor your environment and make sure that they have a balanced dose of everything to make sure that their lives are well protected from the excesses of the age in which we live. Thank you.
Thank you, my Lord. This has been a very meaningful conversation with you, my Lord. I just wish and I hope we could continue going on and on and just exploring different aspects of how to raise godly children in North America.
North America.
I know that our viewers out there will definitely find something very beneficial to them. I just want to thank you for your time, for the experience, the knowledge, for the wisdom that you shared with us on this podcast. Hope that we can continue over and over again to you to have more meaningful conversation with you in the future. So
thank you so much.
Thank you to you, my Lord.
Thank you, my son. Thank you. God bless you.
All right. Bye-bye, sir.
Bye-bye.
Yes, sir.